Being successful at fantasy basketball is like anything else in life. You got to put in the work. It kills me how I see so many players want to show up to the draft in October after neglecting the entire offseason and expecting to win some prize money. In this episode, we will be conducting a 12-team ESPN Points League mock draft. We believe every NBA fan should support fantasy basketball content. So really quick, before we start the draft, I want to shout out everyone who pulled up. We got Mark, we got Vimby, we got Brett, we got Efren, we got Antec, Hanson, Team Foreign, MC FizzBiz, Mark, Isaiah, and Marcus. First pick going off the board, that's Mark's team. It looks like he's going to... Yeah, he drafts the joke. I was about to say, I'm up and I got SGA there in my queue. For me, I'm going to go with Wemby here. So I'm going to grab Wemby with my first pick. And let's see what we got for 3. For the third pick, we have SGA off the board. Makes sense. Then we have Brett's brilliant team. Brett is probably going to draft Giannis here. Let's see what happens. No, he goes for Luka. I like that. I like that. After Luka, we have at the 1-5 Giannis. Makes perfect sense. The top 5, those spots are like interchangeable. So any of those guys could be a little higher or lower with the exception of the Joker, in my opinion. So this is starting off pretty standard, nothing out of the ordinary so far. It seems like we're flowing. Antec is up. Let's see what we got here. We got Cade Cunningham at the 1-6. I like that, Antec. I like Cade Cunningham at the 1-6. It's something about that just warms my heart. Then at the 1-7, we got Anthony Edwards. Not mad at that at all. Then we have LeBron James at the 1-8, Anthony Davis at the 1-9. I think that's late for AD. I would take AD before LeBron James. I would take AD before Anthony Edwards. And quite possibly I'd consider him before Cade Cunningham, but not mad at that. Definitely wouldn't take LeBron James before Anthony Davis. But hey, you never know. Father, LeBron, father time, James. That joker don't play. At the 1-10, we got Karl-Anthony Towns. I would take him probably a little earlier, but love that he's going in the first round. And let's see how the back end of the first round kind of shapes up. We got a couple seconds here. This is Isaiah's pick. He will likely be looking at players like Trae Young. We got also Jalen Brunson, Domantas Sabonis in this area. Tyrese Maxey still on the board. So I imagine we get a Sabonis pick right here at the 111. He grabbed Steph Curry. That's early for me for Steph. I wouldn't take Steph there. I just wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do that. And then at the 112, Marcus is up. He still has a lot of goodness on the board. I would like to see Domantas Sabonis off the board soon, but we got Jalen Brunson at the 112. There we go. We got Sabonis drops all the way to the second round. I think that's tons of value in a points league. And again, this is a 12-team points league here on ESPN. Kevin Durant at the 2-2. Love the value there. Let's go, Slim Reaper. Yeah. And then we got Jalen Williams at the 2-3. Which I think is fair. I'm not mad at that at all. I think that's a fair move right there to grab Jalen Williams at the 2-3. Then Tyrese Maxey at the 2-4. Tyrese Maxey, I've seen him go at the back end of the first round, top of the second. So this area feels like it's value. Paolo Banchero at the 2-5 smells and feels like value. Come on. James Harden at the 2-6. Again, guys, last year, if you go back and look at our content, I was on the hilltop telling people, make sure you draft yourself some James Harden. Get in on James Harden at the back end of the first round, I think I was saying. Early second if you have to. For him to fall to the 2-6, I think is tons of value and negligent for us to leave him. And then another one at the 2-7, Devin Booker goes. I think that's too late for Devin Booker. I think we got to consider grabbing him right at the top of that second round. But again, there were a lot of players ahead of him that I would have likely taken before him. I would take Sabonis before Booker. I don't know if I would take Maxey before Booker. I'm not sure about that. Trae Young falls to the 2-8. Come on, man. Chet Holmgren. I'm sorry. Chet Holmgren at the 2.9 seems a little early. Donovan Mitchell at the 2.10 seems just about right. At the 211, we got me. Oh, shoot. At the 211, we got me. I think I will go ahead and grab myself some Alperen Şengün, which might be a little early for the Goon, but I'm gonna do that. I'm completely fine with that. Let me get and gear up for my next pick while I wait, and I'm gonna be looking at Franz Wagner here. Also, I don't want to neglect Pascal Siakam, but I think in the third round, Pascal Siakam is worth considering. And I haven't. Oh, he just went off the board. Okay, cool. So I'll go ahead and just grab my man Franz here. So I'll grab Franz. I'm fine with that. So just going back to the recap, we had Donovan Mitchell at the 210, Alperen Şengün at the 211, De'Aaron Fox at the 212. At the top of the third, we have Pascal Siakam. Franz Wagner goes at the 3-2. Then Cooper Flag is off the board at the 3-3. I love it. And again, I'm very high on Cooper Flag. One thing I'm not high on is drugs. And I won't be drafting rookies at the top of the third round just because it's just principles. And he could outperform that. I've seen him in the last couple of months since Summer League go from being a player that folks were looking at in the 50s and 40s to move up into the mid 30s. And now he's officially at the back end of the 20s. So this guy is going in the top of the third round in a lot of drafts, mock drafts. And for me, it just seems a little too expensive for my taste. And right now, I'm going to just hold off on that until I see more. Excuse me. Ooh. After Cooper Flag at the 3-3, we have Evan Mobley at the 3-4, Scotty Too Hardy Barnes at the 3-5, Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 3-6, Jaylen Brown at the 3-7. I keep saying to y'all, like, listen, I would never draft him, never have drafted him in the third round. But with Tatum out, things have changed. Things have changed. At the 3-8, we got Amen. Pray to the heavens, Thompson. Then at the 3-9, we got LaMelo Ball. Now listen, big baller brand. This is what I would say. I've seen LaMelo go later than this. I've seen him go earlier than this. Definitely a player that is an injury risk, someone you want to be very careful when drafting. However, definitely worth the reward. And we've seen him at his best, and we know what he can do. The issue is that he don't play. He don't play. At the 310, Jalen Johnson. I love that. You might have to reach a little bit in mock drafts for Jalen Johnson because right now I think he's buried more in the 40s or 50s in the projections, I believe. So he's someone you got to reach for. Nikola Vucevic at the 311, that's tons of value there. Jamal Murray at the 312, maybe. At the 4-1, Tyler Hero, love that. At the 4-2, Ja with the blicky in the club on the live stream team at the 4-2. And then we got my man Mark Up, and he grabs Bam Adebayo, tons of value there. He's making out like a fat rat. That is good value. MC Fizzbiz on the clock. He grabs my man Desmond. Bring the pain, Bane, aka the Magic Man, aka Disney Fest, aka Ears and Beers. Next up at the 4-5, we got Josh, the Gidla, Giddy at the 4-5. Then we got Hanson Yang up, not the player, but the name of the team. He's up with the 4-6, and he grabs Derek White. Derek White, I understand the value. I understand the process. And I understand with Tatum out, he will have increased value. I don't know about this pick for me, though. I don't think I would draft him there. But hey, that's just a preference thing. It makes sense for the projections. It makes sense, for the rankings. For me, it just doesn't make sense for the way I want to build my team. For the 4-7, we have Austin Reeves. For the 4-8, we have Zubats. At the 4-9, we got Jalen Green. At the 4-10, we got DeMar. Not like us, DeRozan. Leave them frozen, DeRozan. Not like us in the building. Bum, 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 bum. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. You want to see DeMar person? Got the wrong spot person. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh shoot, I'm up. Dang, I'm about to auto pick. Let me get locked all the way in. I'm gonna grab Kawhi. No. Who did I grab? Did I grab Josh Hart? Please don't tell me I grabbed Josh Hart. Shish kebab puppies. I grabbed Josh Hart. Sorry about that, guys. Sitting there doing some daggone not like us. And I ended up with Josh Hart. This I've been talking about Josh Hart too. I gotta disable auto pick because that's how they get you. I'm sitting there doing the not like us dance. Big shout out Kendrick Lamar. And the same guy that I talk about that I don't want to draft, Josh Hart, he's going too early. I drafted him. I auto drafted him. This is crazy. This might be the first time in the history of the channel that I've ever mock drafted and picked up Kawhi Leonard. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it, and I'm doing it well. At the 4-11, we had Josh Hart. At the 4-12, we have Kobe White. Top of the fifth, we got Dyson Daniels. Kawhi Leonard at the 5-2. Zion, how the mighty have fallen, Williamson at the 5-3. Zach LaVine at the 5-4. 5-5, we got Miles Bridges. And then at the 5-6, we got my man Antec. You know Antec's about to make a good pick. Come on, ma. Come on, ma. I'm texting my people in the Discord. Didn't want Hart. Auto pick. Auto pick. Auto pick. Anyway, after Zach LaVine at the 5-4, we have Miles Bridges at the 5-5. Jalen Van Halen Duren at the 5-6. Lauri Markkanen at the 5-7. And then we got Joel Embiid off the board at 5-8. And listen, I talk about it. I'm going to keep talking about it. These injury-prone players, you cannot pair them together. You cannot have Joel and Kawhi. You cannot have PG-13 and LaMelo. You cannot do it. You can't have Darius Garland and Kyrie Irving. You can't do it. But a player like Joel Embiid, the upside, if he plays, is going to be insane. You're going to have essentially a first-round level player on the cheap discount. So I don't give a shih tzu puppy. If he's available in that 5th round, it's definitely a risk I'm willing to take. Oh, baby, I'm willing to take that risk. At the 5-9, we got Miles Turner. At the 5-10, we got Jarrett Allen. At the 5-11, we got Mikal Bridges. At the 5-12, we have R.J. Barrett. At the 6-1, we got Mark Williams. And at the 6-2, we got Walker, the stalker, Kessler in the Tesla. Let me stop dancing before I auto draft again, because this, like, I don't think I've done a mock draft this season where I haven't auto drafted at least one round. Like, come on, man. You got to get your stuff. You got to get your stuff together, bro. Come on. But you're the host of the show. Get your stuff together. At the 6-3, we got Trey Murphy III. At the 6-4, we got Jimmy $100 cup of coffee Butler with the Butler. At the 6-4. Next up, we got Team Foreign, and he grabs Deni Avdija. Deni Avdija going in the 6th round is kind of wild to me. I know folks are excited about him. I know, like, he is moving up draft boards. I think a part of me is like historical data, you know, like looking at, okay, a guy did okay here, but years before that, he was average. I picked him up on the way. I'm up again. Let me lock in. Look at me doing my commentary. Okay, so Poole, Van Vliet, Ingram. Is Randall here? I want Randall. I'm going to take that. I know I didn't do another auto pick. I think I did another auto pick, y'all. Let me check. Oh, no, I'm not up. Let me lock in so I don't auto pick. Okay, so Brandon Miller, maybe. Van Vliet, I'm okay with that. Jakob Poeltl, I'm okay with that. I like Julius Randle here. I like Julius Randle here. And that's kind of about it. Maybe Freddie. Yeah, maybe Freddie. Maybe Freddie. So back to Deni Avdija. So with a player like Deni Avdija, because I'm not like used to him being a 6th-round guy, mentally I have to like adjust my thinking and to consider the data. But when considering data, I try not to just focus on last year's data. I try to focus on historical data. So like a player like Karl Anthony Towns is a good example. we always known that Karl Anthony Towns was going to be like a 22 or 25 point scorer, and he's going to get you 10 rebounds. Then something happened in um his environment when Rudy Gobert came to town in Minnesota that changed all of that. Now with Denny, it seems like he has a clear runway to value, so it makes sense. But they're just players that I've seen perform on a consistent level that I would prefer to have over him, and that's kind of where I am. So players like Julius Randle, I'd rather have him over Denny Avdia. Brandon Ingram, I'd rather have him over Denny Avdia. So that's kind of where I am with it. All right, so let's get back to the recap. At the 6'6", I got Kristaps Porzingis. At the 6'7", I got Brandon Ingram. At the 6'8", I got Jordan Poole. At the 6'9", I got Brandon Miller. At the 6'10", I got Rudy Gobert. At 6'11", I grabbed Julius Randle. At the 6'12", Michael Porter Jr. At the 7'1", DeAndre Ayton. I love that pick. I love that pick. At the 7'2", we got Freddie VanVleet. At the 7'3", Darius Garland. I'm going to quickly go in and see if I can just queue up a couple other players to make sure I don't have any more incidents. Definitely interested in Jakob Poeltl, also Norman Powell. Definitely be open to Anthony Simons. OG Anunoby, obviously one of my faves. Isaiah Hartenstein, definitely interested in him. Bradley Beal, I'd be open to as well. Jalen Suggs, love that. I'm interested in Ace Bailey, potentially. Brandon Pajimski is some interest to me. Alex Sarr, I have some interest in that gentleman as well. Bilal Coulibaly, I'll be open to doing that as well. And then I have Isaiah Collier, Andrew Nembhard, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe. Make sure I get Yang in here. Yang Hansen. And then I'll get Kalkbrenner. And these are the players that I'm going to be looking to draft as we finish up here. So let me go ahead and get back to the board. I'll get back to our recap. After shish kebab, all of the players that I queued up got taken. That's funny. After Darius Garland at the 7'3", we got Peyton Pritchard at the 7'4", 7'5", John Collins. OG Anunoby, I queued him up. He's gone. 7'6". DeJounte Murray at the 7'7". Cam Thomas at the 7'8". Isaiah Hartenstein, I queued him up. He's gone. 7'9" for Isaiah. 7'10", CJ McCollum. 7'11", Malik Monk. Not crazy about Malik Monk this year. I don't know if I'm interested in drafting him at that point. Cameron Johnson at the 7'12", I would be interested in that. Norman Powell at the 8'1", Dan Gafford at the 8'2", Emmanuel Quickley at the 8'3". Let me go back to my little queue here and see like how much damage has been done, because geez Louise, they done took every daggone body. Jeez Louise. Man, it is slim pickings over here. I'd be open to some Onyeka Okongwu though. I think Onyeka Okongwu, Nick Claxton are some interesting plays as well. So we'll go ahead and queue some of those guys up and see how things play out. It's interesting that they have Ace Bailey higher than Dylan Harper. I think that's a interesting signal. Ooh, Jared McCain, definitely somebody we want to consider looking at this year. Oh shoot, I'm on the clock. Disable the auto pick. Let me see. Jakob Poeltl will be my next pick. I think that's safe. I don't have that many big men. Like, it's not really what I want to do. It's not the sexiest pick in the world, but definitely I know that guy can put on for the city. Yeah, maybe that's who I'll pick. Am I up yet? What in the heck? Oh, I'm up in 2 picks. So let's get back to the. Let's just get back to the recap. Let's get back to the recap. Shish kebabs. I'm up. So it looks like Jakob Poeltl is gone. So it looks like I'll be drafting Jalen Suggs, which I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with drafting Chris Paul though. So I'm going to take him out of my queue. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't like that. Jalen Suggs, you can come home. I'm not okay with the Chris Paul thing here. So let's remove him. Bye-bye. All right, cool. So let's get back to this recap, fellas. After Norman Powell at The 8-1, we had Dan Gafford, Emmanuel Pick quickly, Anthony Simons at the 8-4, Kyrie Irving at the 8-5. I think that's early for Kyrie, but that strategy, I really like it. I really like the idea of grabbing a player like that and throwing him in the stash. I'm going to grab a big here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab me some Alex Sarr. Might be early for Alex Sarr, but I'm okay with that. All right, so Kyrie Irving at the 8-5. Again, I would look to draft Kyrie maybe more in like the 10th round, but I see the strategy. At this point in the draft, you can kind of swing for the fences and things will kind of work out. Because think about it like this. If you've played fantasy basketball before, this is for my folks who've played for a while. Your last 2 to 3 roster spots are pretty flexible. You're likely streaming, so you're dropping those 3 guys, 2 or 3 guys weekly. So in your draft, look at your last 3 or 4 picks as that same kind of opportunity, right? So in this draft, we have 13 rounds. So look at your first 10 rounds as like, all right, let me build out the foundation for my squad. Let me build out that consistency that can help me to compete. And those last 3 rounds, look at it as like, let me swing for the fences on some of these high upside players to see if I can actually shift the balance of power a little bit. And that's kind of that's one of the most effective ways to be successful at fantasy, is to really leverage those last few rounds. So back to the recap. After Kyrie Irving, we have Devin Vassell, Naz Reid, Jakob Poeltl, Bradley Beal, Tobias Harris, Jalen Suggs, Benedict Mathurin. I think Benedict Mathurin is going to eat this year. I don't know if he's going to be an 8th round player. Gary Trent Jr., I think he's going to eat. I think round 9 is he'll give you that value. Alex Sarr at the 9-2. I think he's going to have a leap. That's why I'm drafting Alex Sarr here. We saw signs of what he could become and be, and I think that he is a young player with tons of opportunity for growth. At the 9-3, we got Paul George. I keep telling y'all, whatever you do this season, stay away from Paul George. Keep him away from your family. Keep him away from your business. Keep him away from your fantasy team. I am out on Paul George. Nick Claxton at the 9-4. Russell Westbrook at the 9-5. Dylan Harper at the 9-6. Let's go. I love that. PJ Washington at the 9-7. Ace Bailey at the 9-8. Come on. Bobby Crazy Eyes Portis at the 9-9. Drew Do What It Do Holiday at the 9-10. Christian Brown at the 9-11. And then we got Aaron Gordon at the 10-2. At the 10-2, we got my man Aaron Gordon. Then at the 10-3, somebody just got snatched off of my daggone queue, Yang Hansen. Yang Hansen keep going earlier and earlier. People are crazy about this guy. They call him the Chinese Joker. Come on, man. Let's get it. Kyle Filipowski at the 10-4. Donovan Clingan at the 10-5. That's interesting. The other young big from Portland goes off the board. I don't know if both of those guys are going to have standalone value. I'm really concerned about that. Donovan Clingan, he was on our rosters here and there last year as a streamer, but Yang is different because we haven't seen him in a NBA, a true regular season NBA setting. So I'm really curious there. After Clingan, we had Schroeder at the 10-6, Matas Buzelis at the 10-7. Then we have D'Angelo Russell at the 10-8, Onyeka King Kong Okongwu at the 10-9, Jared McCain at the 10-10. Oh, baby. So here I go. So I could grab Podziemski, but if I do that, I don't think VJ is going to be there. And I'm going to take VJ here. I don't think VJ will be here. So I'm going into full on, I'm grabbing my rookies because I lost just about all of them. So I'm going to go grab mine now. Actually, let me grab Pods here. I think I might grab Nembhard or Pods or Collier, sorry, or Koulibaly. That's a lot of C's. Collier, Koulibaly, Collier. All right, so who's it going to be? Nembhard, Koulibaly, Podziemski. I'm going to get Nimhard because I think I'm practicing what I preach there. Like I talk about Siakam going too early, but the value being the Matherins and the Nimhards. So I like this. I even like TJ McConnell a little bit. I don't think I would draft him. I think I might pick him up off the waiver wire and stream him, but definitely something to consider. Like where you selecting these Indiana Pacer players that will essentially get an uptick in value due to the Tyrese Halliburton injury. After Jared McCain at the 10-10, I grabbed VJ Edgecombe at the 10-11. At the 10-12, Malik Beasley. At the 11-1, we got Colin Sexton. At the 11-2, we got Andrew Nembhard. At the 11-3, Asar Thompson. Oh, Trey Johnson. I love that pick, man. I got to start adding Trey Johnson to my queue. I love that pick. At the 11-4, at the 11-5, Ayo Dosunmu. Then we got at the 11-6, Rui Hachimura. Then at the 11-7, we got Jonas Valanciunas. I want to say Jonas Valanciunas. That has a better ring to it. Jonas Valanciunas, a.k.a. the bonus. Anyway, 11-8, we got Khalil Ware. At the 11-9, Brandon Podziemski. I think that's tons of value. At the 11-10, Draymond Green. Oh, I think that's okay too. Kelly Oubre Jr. I am out on Kelly Oubre Jr. Come on, man. That is hot dog water with the bratwurst residue. Dumpster juice village. I'm out on Kelly Oubre Jr. At the 11-12, we got Keontae George, a.k.a. Keontae Boy George. I don't know if he'll like that nickname. I might be easy on that. This coffee is horrible, y'all. It's so bad. Oh, my God. But it's all that I got. At the 12-1, we got TJ McConnell. I'm okay with that. See, I think that's it. If you are looking at those Indiana Pacer players, instead of prioritizing a second-round pick for someone like Pascal Siakam, use your later-round picks for Mathurin, Nembhard, McConnell. Those guys will get you value. Even looking at, I would kind of stop it there. I wouldn't look at anybody else. At the 12-2, we got Jaden McDaniels. At the 12-3, we got Stephon Castle. At the 12-4, Rob Dillingham. Rob, I was high on Rob Dillingham last season. One of the worst takes of my fantasy basketball analyst career. I jumped out the window because my son is a big-time Rob Dillingham fan. And I was like, you know what? We're going to jump out the window on this joint. But I was wrong. I'm going to grab Koulibaly here. And then on the turn, I think I'll grab Kalkbrenner. And the other guy, there's another guy that I'm looking at as well. But right now, I'm just going to, Collier. I'll grab him, Kalkbrenner. I'll stick to it. Okay, so after Stephon Castle at the 12-3, Rob Dillingham. Again, one of the worst takes of my career. But I just was early. I wasn't wrong, guys. I wasn't wrong. I was just early. I'm looking to target Rob Dillingham in the later rounds this year. John Kuminga at the 12-5. Brooke Lopez at the 12-6. Zach Edey at the 12-7. Interesting, because I know Zach Edey's going to be out for a little bit of time. At the 12-8, we got Andrew Wiggins. Tons of value. Scoot Henderson's falling off, man. And now, in a couple of years, we're going to have Dame back. I don't know what the future holds for him. Kaman Maluak at 12-10. I don't know if you guys know his story. Great story. Bilal Koulibaly at the 12-11. At the 12-12, we got Kyle Kuzma, which looks crazy that Kyle Kuzma is going this late, but that's where we are. Igor Demon, love that pick. Ryan Kalkbrenner, I'm jumping out the window on that one. Isaiah Collier. Grady Dick at the 13-4. Derek Lively at the 13-5. Scottie Pippen Jr. at the 13-6. Chris Paul at the 13-7. Nolan Traore at the 12-8. Adem Bona at the 13-9. 13-10, Cole Anthony. 13-11, Klay Thompson. And with the final pick, your man Marcus, go ahead and he grabs Toumani Camara. So we're going to go into an honest reaction of my team. Let's do it. Victor Wembanyama, yes. Alperen the Goon, Şengün, yes. Franz Wagner, yes. Josh Hart, head to the I am out on Josh Hart in the fourth round. Kawhi Leonard, maybe. Julius Randle, yes. Fred VanVleet, reluctant, yes. Jalen Suggs, yes. Alex Sarr, maybe. VJ Edgecombe, maybe. Andrew Nembhard, maybe. Bilal Coulibaly, maybe. Ryan Kalkbrenner, maybe. A lot of maybes, couple no's, a few yeses. I'm going to give myself a 3 out of 5 GOAT rating. But now that you know who to draft at the second position, check out this playlist of all of our mock drafts.